Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt, and welcome back to Far Lands or Bust. I was wondering if he was ever going to bark. The cow was certainly giving us a soundtrack to start the episode, but Wolfie was taking a sweet old time waiting for him to bark to start the episode. But yeah, now that we can finally begin, thanks, Guy. Now that we can finally begin, welcome back to Far Lands or Busts, to episode 383, to be specific, of Walking West to the Far Lands, here in Minecraft Beta 1.7.3. As we've been doing for over 3 years, and as we've been doing raising money for Child's Play charity over at farlandsorbust.com, we're up to $7,356 this season, season 5, and today is Friday, July 25th. I have 25'd because I didn't change it from 23rd, so I forgot to change that in my notes. And you all know how I read my notes, my little notepad here on my second monitor, and whatever the notes say is the absolute truth. So if I get the date wrong or the episode number wrong, it's the way that cookie crumbles. I cannot change what the notes say mid-episode. I'm gonna grab, 2 pieces of coal. Thought there'd be more, but 2 pieces of coal to have coal up and running there, just in case. But yeah, we're continuing on here. Let's get Wolfie some additional grub. Whoa! that pig launched at me. Were you self-attacking a pig? But yeah, we're continuing on here for our Lands or Bust. Launch notice. Not really. The last episode's launch notice was all for naught because the launch got scrubbed due to a technical issue. This is the Atlas 5 launch. I'm sorry, not Atlas 5, Delta 4. Blah. The Delta 4 launch of Air Force and DoD satellites to geosynchronous orbit was scrubbed on Wednesday due to a technical issue pretty early on, and then it was postponed until, how do I get up here? It was postponed until yesterday, Thursday, and that got scrubbed due to weather. It was raining, and now it's been rescheduled for today. So, hey, launch notice. A little bit earlier, 6:55 p.m. Eastern Time, 22:55 GMT, but the same weather forecast as was yesterday's scrub due to the weather. So summertime launches in Florida are always kind of hit or miss, just thanks to the very variable weather. Especially, in the morning launches are a little bit better, but by the time the heat and the humidity of the day has passed into the evening of Florida, I think that's normally what all those random thunder showers, that tropical weather kind of pops up and causes problems. Ooh, look at this. It's like, shloop. And I hear some flowing water as well, but shloop. That's the technical, geographical term for that little stripe in the land, is a shloop. So take notes. It's going to be on the test. So yeah, that launch is hopefully going to happen today, but don't hold your breath too much. But if you are around about 6:55 or exactly 6:55 p.m. Eastern Time, you might be able to catch that. And it doesn't seem like, I could be wrong, it doesn't seem like it's going to be broadcast on NASA TV because it's technically, literally not a NASA mission. It's a commercial flight for the Air Force, so you'll have to check out Spaceflight Now. Has a direct link to the feed, and just look around on Twitter for links to live streams, because it doesn't seem like that one is going to be live streamed on NASA TV. Probably. I could be wrong. But yeah, we're continuing on here to the Far Lands, and since it's Friday, I'm going to try to get around to some fan questions, donor questions, if you will. who have given to Child's Play charity. When you do, you can leave a comment in the video. I'm not in the video description. I only can write in the video description, but you can leave a comment in the donation comment. There's a comment box there, and you leave a question. Also leave your username or nickname or whatever so I can properly attribute your donation in question. Because by default, and probably for a good reason, the Child's Play charity donations are anonymous by default unless you go through the steps to enable sharing of your username who gave a donation. But I mentioned at the end of the last episode I got a $100 donation from Dominic in Germany, who asked kind of a heavy-handed question. I'll just go read his comment here verbatim. Since I'm boating, I really don't have to pay too much attention. I won some money in a friendly bet about the World Cup, and since I felt uncomfortable making money via something that is morally questionable, I decided to donate to a good cause instead. What do you think of the almost religious status money currently holds in our society? Is there really no alternative to this form of capitalistic oligarchy posing as a democracy? Big words, very big words, many of which I do not understand. But yeah, kind of a heavy question. Like I say, I tend to try to keep Farlands Bust Minecraft gameplay. We've got a wolf here who's wearing 3D glasses, who's been following us, and we wait for him to bark in order to even start the episode. And there's sunshine and trees, and I'm dressed as the doctor. And I tend not to get too serious, but it is almost kind of like a podcast, kind of like a vlog, blog, video game blog sort of thing, where I do talk about things that, may or may not be either happy subjects or just world news stuff, or even talking about the stuff yesterday, the copyright issues and things related to YouTube, businesses, a little bit of politics as far as we talk about the cable companies and, Comcast trying to buy Time Warner and blah, 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 blah. You understand. So things fluctuate here. And I also do realize that there are a handful of young audience members out there. I get messages from parents who watch with their kids who may be still in elementary school, so they might not totally benefit from discussing such things as these. But so I'm gonna take it a little bit lightly. But on the flip side of that coin, I have gotten either comments on Twitter or even in the last video, I got a comment said, "Stick to space. Don't comment on complex legal issues like this." I've also gotten a comment that kind of like made me shake my head on Twitter. Somebody told me after I tweeted about the Mayday pack. I've talked about that before in Farlands Bust. Somebody commented, "I follow you for gaming, not politics." And I'm kind of like, really? Is that, you want the people you follow to be one-dimensional? You follow me for gaming, but newsflash, you also follow somebody who happens to be a human being living his own life and who maintains his own opinions and passions and thoughts, independent thoughts, and I feel like I am an entire human being here, so try to have some decency, man. I was no, but it's kind of weird when I get comments like that, but yeah, I do feel like obviously money is a big deal. Sometimes I understand that it's necessary. We are far too complex of a society to be working on like a barter system or any other sort of style of being able to properly reward work for money and services and products and things like that. Whether or not this is the best system is yet to be determined, I feel. The big problems come into play when it gets involved with politics and changing policy and affecting the lives of people who may not have the money, the influence. Ooh, look at that! That tree is out on a limb. Ah, see what I did there? Tree, limb. I used an analogy, an acronym, what is that technically called? An idiom against itself, for which, because trees have limbs, but the tree itself is out on a... All right, I'm just going to go to sleep, and we're going to continue talking and answering questions in the morning. And awakeness. Bloop. Hi. What you looking at? So yeah, I do have mixed opinions and varied opinions, and certainly deeper opinions than I'm really feeling like this is the proper platform to go into it at the moment, about capitalism, its influence on politics and livelihoods. I feel like that tree over there is on fire. That tree is not out on a limb. That tree is on fire. Is literally what that tree is. Oh, I wonder if the fire would update. No, it's too far away. I would like update that floating sand and make it fall. That would be an interesting series of events. Whoa, watch your step. So yeah, that's a big problem. It also really affects people's behavior, whether or not it be for greed or power, but also as a consumer level, the way advertising works. It changes the way people perceive success, and it changes our survival from a need-based survival to a want-based life. It changes, technically speaking, we humans only need, like, what is it, like the 3 basic needs? Food, shelter, and oxygen? I don't know, what's the third one? There's some sort of, like, philosophical, the basic human needs. Maybe social interaction, perhaps. Isolation tends to make people go a little cuckoo. As is evidenced by the experiment of my own life. No. But yeah, advertising and the capitalistic structure of you need this, or you're constantly getting bombarded by images, and just watching TV, I notice how many commercials, on different cultures. People coming from Europe always come to America and are amazed at how many commercials we have to sit through. But I'm amazed at the amount of what commercials are for food, and just junk food, and just bad food, fast food, and restaurants, and this, that, or the other, and Wolfie stealing my boat. And then, you wonder why obesity is an issue. It's maybe not because people are making bad choices. Sure, there's some awareness and self care that needs to be taken care of there, but how much of that is manipulated by the advertising and the constant onslaught of Coca-Colas and French fries and Hot Pockets and all these things that are constantly inundated with, thanks to advertising and product placement, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, there's a lot of very intricate facets to this kind of question. And, even looking at myself, self-reflecting on my own, how I make a living, is literally dependent on that advertisement structure, and it is something that an internal struggle, if you will, it's convenient in that you don't have to pay anything to watch my content and channel, and I am able to then earn money based on this advertising, and am able to make more content because I am thankfully able to do it at a full-time status thanks to that. And but there is the little bit of I tip my head to the side and be like, well, but then I'm also sure you're not technically paying out of your pocket, but you guys are being subjected to this advertising. It's a little bit intrusive, and there's a little bit of like, I feel, I have little control to no control over what products or types of advertising you see, and that might be kind of a question there, and hopefully we'll be able to do something about that. I'm not, teasing anything here, but I'm working on something that maybe might be able to look for a nice equilibrium in that respect without impacting too much on the way we do what we do here on KurtJMac's channel. So maybe in about a week, I think we'll find out about that. But anyway, we're continuing on here, and thank you very much for that very generous donation. I suppose, speaking of money, it can be used for good and exchanged for charity and helping out others, and in this case, getting toys, books, and games to kids in children's hospitals around the world through Child's Play charity. So, good, bad things. Most things can be categorized as good and or bad, but yeah. Going on to the next question here from Slowbro2 says, I recently turned 17 and am graduating from high school in 2 years and was wondering how it was like to become an adult. I'll let you know when I get there. How it was like to become an adult and live without a straightforward path in life. I'll probably go to college, but I'm still kind of scared of that time. Another heavy question. You guys are deep. Heavy, man. Heavy. I guess you have to kind of let go of the preconceived notions of what it is to be an adult. Obviously, back when I was 17, good gravy, I would have never imagined this would be something I could do for a living. I obviously had the worries of, okay, I need to go to college and get a job, in parentheses, job number, this, that, B, X12, some sort of get barcode, punch in and out with your swipe card, and wasn't too thrilled about that, but that was kind of the going thing. It was never really, it didn't seem like it was very well portrayed to me that one could be self-employed as I am, or a contractor, or certainly the internet wasn't what it was. YouTube didn't exist back when I was 17, and so the YouTube and the internet as a mode of employment and livelihood wasn't quite an option. But what was it like to become an adult and live without a straightforward path in life? To be honest, I would prefer, in my own opinion, I would be one who would prefer not having a straightforward path in life. You don't want the plan and things laid out already and scheduled. What would be the interest or excitement in that? Sure, that leaves open that possibly bad things could happen, but it also leaves open that possibly good things could happen. You learn from the bad things, and the good things come out of that. I read a quote recently that said, don't live the same year 75 times and call it a life. I ended that wrongly. And call it a life. There we go. That's the way I should have ended that quote, because there was a full stop at the end of that. So it's basically saying, you don't want to, I am going to get a job and do that job forever and then retire, and basically, it's basically an argument against settling down and having the same year over and over and over again and saying, yes, that was a successful life I had. Thank you very much, and now I am done. So that kind of resonated with me in that I do like the idea of not necessarily having no goals or being aimless, but being flexible and being open to the possibility, and also kind of taking charge and making those changes happen. Like, I'm hoping this time next year I'm not going to be living where I am. There's a certain goal there. There's certain hurdles that have to take place and I have to overcome before then, but being able to pick up and go somewhere completely different, and it is almost a full refresh on being in a different physical space and geographical space really can affect the way you live. So that's something I'm personally looking forward to. 6 years ago, if you asked, that was something on my plan, on my having a path forward in life, I would have said I would have no idea. That makes no sense. Why would I have made that decision? So, yeah, I wouldn't. Don't believe the stereotypical. This is what it means to be an adult. Boop. Oh, I guess you're full. Oh well. This is what it means to be an adult, or this is what you have to do to be an adult. And yeah, I don't know. It's hard to separate what I would tell 17-year-old me versus what I would tell 17-year-old you. That's too big a burden, I feel, and that's one of the reasons I'm not too keen on ever myself having creating life or having kids and raising them, because it's like too much pressure, man. Too much pressure. I'd react to my own mistakes or talking to myself as a kid, but that's not really the way. Things change, times change, and blah blah blah. But we're getting deep here in today's episode of Far Lands of Bust, number 383. Yeah, it looks like we have some different questions coming up that are not quite as deep. So we'll get to those in the morning. And awakeness. Yee. I'm still missing. Wait. Oh, I ate that bone. That's what happened. I'm sorry, Wolfie. Oh, now he's like, yeah. That's what I've been trying to tell you. I thought, I was missing a heart earlier, but then tried to feed him, but I did not. Sorry. Doggy treats. The next very deep and in-depth philosophical question from Shadow Addy. What is your favorite dessert? Now we're getting real serious here. Buckle up. I know I'm going to lose a lot of viewers talking about this very controversial topic. People who are like, just stick to the gaming, man. I don't want to talk about pastries or desserts. What is your favorite dessert? Well, this has certainly changed recently in having to have become gluten-free, so a lot of the cakes, a lot of the crispity, crunchity cake, pie, pastry, even ice cream type of situations are off the table. Although, on my birthday, I was the recipient of a gluten-free carrot cake. There's a gluten-free bakery in the area, and I received a carrot cake, which was gluten-free, and it was very good. Scrumdiddlyumptious. You wouldn't have been able to tell that it was a gluten-free carrot cake. I've always liked carrot cake. I haven't had it in a while since going gluten-free, so that was a good dessert. That sufficed. I've made gluten-free brownies are good. Those work out all right. I've kind of not. I guess I used to like ice cream a lot, but I've kind of fallen off the ice cream truck. I've fallen off the ice cream truck simply because of a lot of it does come in cones, and I can't have the cones, and also just in general, I don't do milk that often anymore, and your really good ice creams. Ooh, this would be a nice place to build like a fortress. It's like Omaha Beach here or something. The cliffs of Dover we've got going on. Kind of a cool, neat area. This would be if you started up your Minecraft world and started on this beach, this wouldn't be too bad of a spawn. Not too bad at all. But we're continuing on. This is not a spawn. This is over a million blocks from spawn. So, indeed. But yeah, not so much into the ice creams. Favorite dessert? Yeah, I mean, cheesecake. I always like cheesecake, but like plain cheesecake, like the Cheesecake Factory and all these weird, crazy flavors and bleh. But like your standard good cheesecake, I was always a fan of. I would have to. I think Whole Foods has a gluten-free cheesecake in their gluten-free area. I've not tried it, so cheesecake isn't something I've had in a while. So yeah, again, picking out a favorite thing, I suppose all I can say right now is that gluten-free carrot cake was very good, just because that's the most recent dessert I've had. I don't do dessert that often. So yeah, let's go with that. Let's go with that for right now. The dessert of the moment is a gluten-free carrot cake. Let's see here. Where are we at for time? Still midway through the third day of Far Lands of Bust. Careful, careful, Wolfie, of the cacti. There's another floating piece of sand. We had one in the last episode. Kurt should get a pilot's license. Discuss. Talk amongst yourselves. Kurt should get a pilot's license. Discuss. I think I talked about this a long time ago. It was one of those things as I was quitting my job, which was actually some 3 years ago. Some 3 years ago in early July of 2011. I quit my job, my full-time job as a web designer. This was even before I was a YouTube partner, so I wasn't even depending on YouTube income at that time. I fully expected to get another job that was perhaps a little bit less stressful. Well, my job really wasn't stressful. It was just I didn't enjoy it. And, in a slightly different field or something like that. Or I had considered going back to school. And then one of the things that intrigued me was flight, airplanes. I'd always thought of wanting to get my pilot's license, but even to the fact that, okay, maybe if I'm not, becoming a pilot, an actual pilot is a stressful job and it takes a long time and requires a lot of work. But you can get like a private pilot's license, and you can kind of work. Okay, maybe there's pilot. You can be a pilot's a plane mechanic is the thing, but also even working in support, like a support field in an airport, or a small airport, or air traffic. That's also one of the top most stressful jobs in the world. So I had thought about that for a while, and it's just one of those things that was. Kind of a cool dream of mine, and even just casually as a hobby would be kind of cool, but kind of fell by the wayside since I started doing this, and to the same effect where it'd be like, oh, it'd be cool to be a race car driver, kind of do one of these smaller local racing venues sort of things that are not fully 100% professional level, or not NASCAR or any touring kind of level, but just a local as a hobby racing cars, and have your own race car to fix up and modify and try to get better and better and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's I'm still technically young-ish, so maybe 30 years from now, maybe I'll be like, I'm bored, I'm going to get a pilot's license. So, man, that wouldn't be the first time that's ever happened for somebody. So, but right now, potentially not so much. It's kind of expensive too. I have other, speaking of the role money plays in our lives, it's a little bit of an expensive endeavor to undertake for just the simple license and school fees, but also. You have to rent your flight time in a plane that's not yours. And careful, Wolfie. What happened there? Did you just spawn into a block, or like spawn on that tree and fall? Have a seat. I will not eat your food this time, I promise. But yeah, I hope that was enough discussion for you two. That wasn't even a question. That was just a prompt, a topic prompt. What are we looking at here? Yeah, a little bit of time left. Let's see. Favorite dessert? I'm looking for something. We had some heavy stuff going on earlier. It's heavy questions to answer. I'm looking for, I guess this one from another anonymous donor. What is your favorite song and or music type? Another one of these favorites. I've been not able to listen to music as much as I would like lately. I did consider there is a summer festival. There's Lollapalooza. This is the big one that happens in Chicago, but there was Pitchfork Music Fest that happened last weekend in Chicago. I considered briefly going to that because Beck... I like Beck. I haven't listened to much recent stuff from Beck, Beck was headlining that, but also a few artists that I like. St. Vincent and Sharon Van Etten were there, but really expensive for only needing or wanting to see 2 or 3 of your artists, 2 of which played on different days, like $60 per day. So I would have been out $120 only to see three artists. Also, an outdoor music festival, which very crowded, very cramped, very hot, and not personally the type of location you want to find. I want to find myself. So yeah, I'm gonna be keeping my eye out for maybe like little solo shows for those artists. Careful, Wolfie! Oh God, careful, Wolfie! Spawn down here, spawn down here. Thank you. Woo! Woof. So yeah, those are some artists. I don't have a favorite song. That's something that fluctuates again and changes, much like the dessert. It's a seasonal thing. I don't have a favorite song. But yeah, mainly in the rock genre, I suppose you could call it, is where I reside in my my musical stylings. But I can vary any wildly scope back and forth around the rock genre in general. Boop. So yeah, I suppose that answers that question. So yeah, thank you everybody for all of the questions that I was able to answer in today's episode. And you can ask questions or just give simple prompts like this person with the pilot's license gave with your donation to Child's Play charity over at farlandsofbust.com. Keep them raising money in season 5 here for that charity, helping get toys, books, games, and stuff to kids in hospitals worldwide. And I failed to mention, simply because we're raising money at farlandsofbust. Ooh, farlandsofbust. Farlandsofbust.com. And, it's kind of a goal-based thing. We see the little number go up on the website. But another way you can support Child's Play charity is by going to childsplaycharity.org and actually looking at the map. There are a map of all the hospitals that they are partnered with, and you can click on a hospital. Perhaps you want to support one locally or something. You can click on the map and click on a hospital, and it will take you to an Amazon wish list, and that is a wish list that hospital has set up of items that they would like donated directly to them, and you can purchase through that Amazon wish list, and that item or items will be given to that specific hospital. So yeah, if you want to support your local hospital or something like that, get the items they need for whatever their children's ward or their kind of lobby area, or for whatever reasons they may need those items. Everything from simple as books and crayons and coloring books and things like that to full on Xboxes or video games or certain things like that. That's one way that you can support Child's Play charity directly. Obviously, that monetary amount won't go towards the Farlands or Bust goal, but that's just an option for you if you are so deemed inclined to directly support them like that. The way the money works, the money we raise here and through other fundraisers, and they have their charity auction and their golf outing. Direct monetary contributions are basically into a pool, and then the different hospitals are then given basically grants of money. Whoops, no, I already have a bed. I meant to make a boat. Are basically given that money to themselves purchase items directly from their own wish list, so that they don't have to wait. So that they don't have to wait for somebody to give that particular item. Is basically how the monetary donations through Child's Play charity work. Just a brief reminder of the many ways you can help out certain causes here that we are associated with in Farlands or Busts. And I do appreciate you guys, lights out. I do appreciate you guys supporting me by watching, by liking, by subscribing, and even checking out my other non-Farlands or Bust gaming videos. I do appreciate that, and enabling me to continue doing this for a living, something that old 17-year-old me would have had not the faintest clue or dream, wildest dream that I could be playing video games for a living on the internet. It's pretty awesome. I do appreciate it. You guys make it happen. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Kurt. Have a good weekend. I will see you next time.